Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Man's World Podcast. It is so great to have you back with us as we continue our exploration into modern masculinity and the ever evolving dynamics between men and women. Today's topic is on the successful men. We have questions on who is he, what does he do, and that is what we'll be covering on today's episode of Man's World Podcast, episode 3. All right, so without further ado, I just want to dive straight into it. How would you explain what a successful man is, guys? Jaffer, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. So I think with any one of these questions and these topics we get into, the first thing we have to do is like clearly identify what we're actually talking about. So we have to like define what success is, and success is going to look different to different people. But in general, we could talk about for most men what success will look like and how to get there is the first thing. Like I said, is defining it and what does success look like for you, right? What does it mean to you? And you can't get into looking at other people, especially with social media nowadays. You have a lot of people portraying their lives to be a certain way, and you have people that see that and you're like, oh, I want to be like that. But is that really what you want? Do you really want to be this person? Do you really want your life to be that way? Do you have a realistic idea of what success is? Are you establishing short-term goals, long-term goals? Are those goals in alignment, right? Because if you have a vision of what success is for you, right? And my co-hosts are gonna get into like more specifically of like what actually success should kind of look like for a man, right? Because once we get to that level, there's going to be some common characteristics for that a successful man will have, right? Even though they might have totally different lives, there's going to be some common characteristics. But identify that and then establish goals and that are going to get you there. Don't have like goals that take you outside of that path, right? You want to be aligned in your short-term and your long-term goals. Don't get into the situation where you're trying to keep up with other people. You are your own competition, right? It's one thing to look at somebody and say, you know what, you're using it as motivation, as okay, I see this person, like they got a good job, they're in shape, and that's good to use it as motivation for yourself. But don't use it as okay, I have something, because sometimes there's men that are successful already and don't actually recognize that they're successful. And they actually get out of that tune of being successful because they're chasing something that either they shouldn't be chasing or that is actually not in line with what they really need to be successful. So I'm not going to really try to get into define exactly what a successful man is because we kind of know what those characteristics are. We kind of know what those tangible things are, which just in short is you're going to be a good man. You're going to be able to take care of yourself first and foremost, and you're going to be able to take care of others. And that's like in a short gist, like that. What is a success on varying levels?
Mm. Wow, that was an excellent answer. So I'm hearing, you have to know what a successful man is to you. You have to know what your values are and your goals and just stay in alignment with them. Thank you for that, Jaffer. Hussein, would you like to add?
Yeah, sure. So I would come at the situation from an internal morality standpoint, where if we're gauging success, I feel like a man should have certain qualities, certain morals, certain ethics, certain intangibles. You know what I'm saying? I would say he should be trustworthy. I would say he should be reliable. People should be able to trust him. People should be able to rely on him. He should, obviously establish consistency with whatever he is doing. Hopefully it's good, that he's doing. He must establish consistency. You have to be consistent, to achieve success in anything that you're doing. And also humility. I throw in humility too, because as men, we all know that we're going to get hit with everything in the kitchen sink. You have to be very humble about your position, under the eyesight of God. So as everyone knows, we are God, I won't say God fearing, but we believe in the creator and we allow his rule, his order to govern our lives. So we definitely need humility as well. So I would come at it from that aspect, defining a successful man.
Thank you for adding that, Hussein. I just have to ask you because I heard you say consistency a lot.
Mhm.
So I was wondering, like, what consistency with what? Could you expand on that, please?
Sure. Anything that you're striving, as far as I'm, in my opinion, you brother can chime in, but anything that you're trying to tackle or you're striving for, you must maintain consistency. Whether this be in your prayers, whether this be in your character, your how you show up for your family. You know what I'm saying? Consistently making sure that you take care of your responsibilities. Consistently making sure that you you work on the virtues that you're trying to establish. Like humility. Now, everyone knows humility is a tough virtue. You know what I mean? It's not something you just go into the refrigerator and just pour, just drink a little glass of humility and today you're humble. No, it's something that you got to constantly strive to work on, including patience. And these virtues never go away. They're always challenging you to be a better person. So you got to kind of keep up with that and maintain consistency with your actions and how you're going to strive to achieve what you're achieving. To Jaffar's point, a lot of times there could be men that are successful, but they just don't know or recognize that they have achieved a certain level of success. And with that, I would tie in the humility that I was talking about. You always want to stay humble and keep yourself low. This is something that I always strive to do. I try to stay in a student mindset. Even though a student can teach, we know that a student can teach, but if you stay in a student mindset, you're keeping that door and that window open to always be willing to learn from any and every, areas. So
that's very good. That's very good. All right. Well, I'd like to turn this question over to Mubarak.
Yeah. Good job. Good try, brothers. Good try. But no, I mean, yeah, those were nice answers. They made me feel warm and fuzzy. But what it boils down to is, and maybe I'm just hard. I don't know. But what it boils down to is three things I see. Is that what makes a man successful is that he is able to provide for the people he's responsible for. So even if you have a man by himself, if he just has himself, if the only person he's responsible for is himself, and he can do that, then in that category, that level, he's successful, right? So being able to provide for the people he's responsible for, you're not going to be able to be a successful man without being able to do that. So this is not talking about how rich a person is, how poor a person is, or anywhere in between. It's just a matter of if you can do that, then you're almost there as far as being successful. That's not everything, but you have to be able to do that. The next thing is that after being able to provide for everyone he's responsible for, he has to be content with his situation. Because if you don't have that, you never will be successful. There's some people who have a lot and who can provide, but they're not content with that situation. So they're not able to have the success. So you need those two things. You need to be able to do it. All right. Then you need to be able to have, and it takes a level of self-awareness or other people helping you to understand, hey, you're in a good spot. You've made it. You are successful, or you have done, as much as you can do, or you're in a spot where you should, be content. If it comes from yourself, if you know and understand that, it's better than someone else telling you pump the brakes and sit down. Don't go, start that business, overseas, or start this new job, or quit the job that you have, or whatever it might be. So being able to take care of those people that you're responsible for. 2, being content with your situation. And number 3, I would say, if it's not the most important thing, then it's really up there. These 3 really are, they go hand in hand. But the third thing is, being around people who you love, whether it's 1, 2, 10, 100, whatever. The key is being around people that you love, If they love you back, that's even better. But if you're around people that you say, I love these people, then you have achieved success, because you're at a point where, could think about this. When people love you, there could be all types of different reasons, but you might not love them back. So if you're around people who love you and they want to be around you or whatever, and you don't actually love them like that, it can be miserable, actually. If you look at celebrities and how many people that allegedly love them and they want to be around them and they're all infatuated with them, you see constantly they're either having mental issues or they commit suicide and all these different things because they don't actually love the people that they're around. So they're not successful. They haven't actually achieved the level of success because they have not been able to have people around them that they love, right? You see the person who's they say, oh wow, look at this guy, he's so successful, he's a high value man, he's got so much money, and he's got a bunch of yes men around him.
Well, let me ask you this: what does you loving someone how does that tie into you being successful? I'm just trying to connect that.
Because
you love somebody, so how does that tie into you being successful?
Because it's one of the things that as a human being you need. You need. I mean, can you live without being around people that you love? Yeah, you can. But are you successful? If you are not around people who you love, you've made bad decisions somewhere. You are in a situation where you have to be around these people. For instance, you have to be around these people because you are in a situation where you're dependent on them. You need them. You can't actually be in a situation where you want to be. So I don't even, for instance, you might say, listen, I have to live in a house, a group home, right? You're living with people. Look at the homeless person, right? He lives in a homeless shelter. He's washing his bags all the time. He's got a situation where he's living, he's around people who he doesn't love, he doesn't even care about, but his situation has led him to have to be in close proximity and living and dealing with people who he doesn't love and care about. This is maybe an extreme example, but when you are actually surrounded by and around and are dealing with people who you love, most likely you love them for certain reasons that should facilitate them loving you back, but it's not always the case. But if you love them, there's a good reason for that, for you. And so you're successful because you're getting something out of it. It's better to, and I can elaborate on this more, but it's better for you to love someone than for them to love you. It comes together a lot, but the key is if you love another person, if you love that person, then there's reasons there for you, and it is a success for you.
Yeah.
What if those? Yeah, I'm not really buying the love. You gotta love part. It's like, what if the people you love?
Interesting to me.
What if the people you love aren't good for you?
I mean, but like I said, if these things come together, right? You might say, okay, they might not be good for you. Does that mean that you are unsuccessful? It could lead to a disaster, but you are able to provide for those people around you that need you. You're able to provide the things that they need. Success. You are able to then what was the other thing? Be content with that situation, right? So when you're content with a situation, usually it puts you in a place of where you're physically, mentally, spiritually, you're in a good place. You're at ease with where you're at. Maybe you want to do better. Maybe you want to be, more financially stable or whatever it might be. But you say, hey, I'm good right here. I'm in a good spot. And then if you can connect that with also people who you love, then I mean, you've got it. You've got it. Now that can look, for the person who's living, a person could be living in the projects and have all those things. They could, and you can't say that they are not successful. Should they possibly be in a better economic situation? Yeah. But guess what? Everybody is not going to be in a mansion. Yeah. Everybody's not going to be in the suburbs. Everybody's not going to be in an apartment. So, you know what I mean? There's a place for everybody. And as long as you can find those things where you can provide the needs for yourself and the people who you're responsible for, and you are content with that situation, you're at ease with it, there's peace in your heart about it, and you got some people, at least one, but hopefully 2, 3, 10, whatever, people that you love, most likely that love would be reciprocated, and then you're in a good spot.
I want to talk more about the love thing, but I wanted to touch on one thing, and maybe you guys can help me out, because I can't think of a better word, but I don't like the word, and the word you mentioned was contentment, because some people, when people hear contentment, and I'm pretty sure we all agree, like, contentment doesn't mean like, oh, I'm good, I'm not doing anything else, like I'm not going to try to improve myself, I'm not going to try to, but people hear that and like they think it's like a negative, oh, he's just content, he has no ambition, he doesn't strive for anything. But that's when we say contentment, and that's why I was like, I can't think of a better word. Well, we don't mean that. That means like you're good in your situation, but you're still trying to improve yourself, whether it's finances, whether it's spirituality, whether it's your character, whatever, your physical fitness, whatever it is. But the contentment part is just like, it's kind of like opposing to the person that's never, like, you're never satisfied with anything, right? A person could be rich and they're just never satisfied. They could be shredded, in shape, can run like the David Goggins. That's not healthy. Like, he's never content. That's not a healthy mindset. He'll run people away from him, chase them out of his life because he's never content.
I think I think that ties right back into, I think it's interconnected with humility, because you have to have a certain level of humility to be content with situations when they come and when they arrive and they come on you. You have to have that, in my opinion. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to stay in this position. And it's very, very difficult because sometimes we're not content and we get outside of ourselves and start doing things that we should not be doing, or chasing or going after stuff that's not good for us. So we have to be able to recognize, okay, this is a good situation. This is a stable situation. I'm comfortable with this. Let me build on this. Let me build on this. A lot of times, we get outside of that contentment. I understand exactly what you're saying, Jonathan. We get outside of that and we start doing too much. And I felt myself doing this quite often, to where I'm like, okay, settle yourself down, calm down. It's okay. This is where you are. If you feel like you're in the trenches and you got to battle out, be content with this position that you're in, and battle through it. But like you were saying, some people will hear that and be like, oh, they're just saying, no, we're not saying that. We're trying to define what
kind of ties into that whole alpha like mentality, like, oh, never be content. Always like, well, no, that's not a healthy mindset to approach life.
Yeah. And the reason why, it's like, because if everybody is always chasing this top 1% type of lifestyle or situation, then, but it's 1% for a reason. That means 99% ain't there. So, I mean, you can try to reach your maximum potential, but it's just like, that's why it's much more important, instead of having a certain, a financial, or, your girl has to look a certain way, something like that, like some of these bozos say, no, that's really not it. You really need to really have, I think the best feeling in the world for me, and I don't know that someone could trade $1 billion or more than that. You could offer me everything in the world, and more. I would not trade it for, the people around me that I love. And I think we can all say that, that means something. And for some of these people that are giving this advice about, just never give up, never settle on it, they don't got people around who care about them, and they don't have people who they love like that. You see, like you mentioned David Goggins, he talked about how his dad treated him and this, that, and other. He got all these issues going. No, he don't have nobody in his life, or at least what has him doing that situation now is he's kind of a, it's a money making thing. More than anything that I see. But it's like, for instance, look at the guy, was Shaquille O'Neal, right? Shaq recently was in the news because his wife. Now I'll run through it real quick. He met his first wife. He has a few sons or whatever, that were pretty good basketball players, but the mother of these children, right? So he met her. He told the story about how he met her. He was walking into the bank. She was a bank teller or something like that, right? A single mother and a bank teller, but he saw her. She was beautiful. He liked her or whatever. Anyway, fast forward, they got divorced or whatever. He was a serial cheater. But the thing is, what she's writing a book or whatever. And what she said was she never loved Shaq. She never loved him. Yeah.
Wow.
Right? I mean, she was there for the money or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, that's some of the situation that these people find themselves into when you're just chasing a lot of things, and you have to realize, sometimes you might want a Lamborghini, or you might want to, like a friend of ours always says, about BMWs, how they're terrible cars. Everybody wants one, but it's like, they're terrible. Some of these things, like, you're chasing some things, but it's not going to really bring you that contentment and that satisfaction. It's always so much upkeep. And so what he ran into was he got a woman who looked a certain way. And in the end, she didn't even care about him, you know? And so he probably could have done better with finding someone that actually cared about him, that he loved and loved him back. But so when we look at this, and I'll just say this. So Shawnee O'Neal, Shaquille O'Neal's ex-wife, she was in a situation where she was married to a person. She had all the money at her fingertips and her hands, who she didn't even love. So was she successful? I mean, she was successful in getting the bag, but as far as getting his money and all that, but as far as in her life, I mean.
So back to your point about the love thing. On the opposite side, let's just assume Shaquille O'Neal loved her, was he successful when they were married, even though she didn't love him?
Well, I mean
like let's not act like we know they got divorced. Let's say at that time, because like things happen, and that's something we'll have to talk about when we get. Just because a marriage ended or whatever doesn't mean during that marriage there wasn't success, right? Because success is not something like, okay, I got it and it's never going to leave me. Like things change, Yeah,
I mean, he did talk about how he was, how he messed up and he was the one who ruined the relationship or whatever. Yeah. So I mean, from his perspective, I mean, he was able to provide for his people. Because
it wasn't like she was coming home and saying, "I don't love you." Just by the way, all right, here's dinner.
You definitely was playing the role. Definitely was playing the role. But so I would say that in that instance that he was successful. But was she? The thing is, I'm looking at because it's not just about. I know it's a Man's World show, but just looking at that, I mean, how content can you be? And like when you have to lay your head down on a pillow at night or whatever, or when you look yourself in the mirror. I mean, there are moments in your life where you have to be like, whatever you're doing, the situation, I mean, are you happy with it? Are you content? Are you satisfied with it? And that contentment to be like, you know what I mean? I'm cool. I'm good right here. It's more valuable than, sometimes the flashy car or the pretty girl or the, some of the clout that you may acquire. But honestly,
how about this? So I'm warming up to your
warming up. Okay, come on up.
I want to add a little bit to it. So just like a condition, because I know once we get into talking about men and who you should have around you and the type of network and friends you should have, the people that you should love, they should be people that add positivity, not negativity to your life, right? Like don't bring if you add that condition of having people you love, because it doesn't really necessarily matter if they love you, as long as you don't know they don't love you. Like you feel a certain way with them, right? They're not, but the condition may be if they're not doing things to detract from those other 2 points you made.
I think if you love them, then I don't think they would. I mean, it's always possible, right? This is general, but if you love a person, there's a reason why. There's something that you are bringing to me in my life, whether you make me feel good, you make me laugh, you take care of me, whatever it is.
I gotta chime in. So I've had this thought for a while, not to interrupt, but personally, how I view love, I never think it's true love or real love unless it's reciprocal. I find it very difficult to believe or understand that you could love someone and they totally not love you and you just be blissfully unaware. And I think about this in a way, I think about this in a way, and I don't want to take it in a spiritual direction, but I was the Holy Last Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how he loved us. And it's like, okay, you feel like from that type of love, you want to love this person simply because he loved you, and he he loved you so much. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so I'm gonna get off that part. I'm gonna get off that because I don't want us to go down that lane. But that's how I view love. I don't think that you can love someone and they not love you back. I don't think that's true love. That's where I'm at. I would think it would be reciprocal.
That real quick, I'll say that because love is a subjective thing.
I
right?
know.
We're all having, but your definition reveals about what you think of love. You're someone that for love for you is what you get out of the interaction.
Yeah, I just think it should be.
Like for instance, I can love. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. I can love somebody that doesn't even know me.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
right? That means there's no reciprocal love. They don't know me. They don't love me. They don't care about me. If I died, they wouldn't blink an eye. They may even know me, but because I know their character, I know how they act, I know the things they do, I know about them. Like, yo, I love that person. Yeah, I love them for all these different things, and because whatever reason,
I think that's a word we throw around because we have no other substitute for it. But me personally, I would not regard that as love. That could
because
be more like
your love is reciprocal.
Yeah, so let's say like let's say like this. My favorite football team is the 49ers. Mm-hmm. And these creatures have been acting up the last few years. They be giving me tight a little bit. But I'm kind of, ever since 1993 or 1994 when they won the Super Bowl, I haven't got another Super Bowl. And I feel in my heart, dang, I've been feeling like I love these guys. I love this team. They don't know me from a can of paint, blah, blah, blah. So then, this last year when they went on ahead and wet the bed with these silly Chiefs last year, I was thinking like, do I really love these? Do I want them? You know what I'm saying? Because and the reason why I'm saying, I'm trying to use this analogy to make it light, is that really love? Like, is it how do you define love? You feel what I'm saying? Like, everyone's going to have their little definitions. Me personally, I think to love someone, there has to be some type of, like, if I say I love my daughter.
Exchange.
She doesn't care nothing about me. How can that be love? I think
that's transactional.
It's because like there's this concept of love that it has to be like if I say, James, I love you. If he doesn't say I love you back, then I don't love him no more. I mean, it ain't really like that. Now you can love another person. That's why in these boyfriend, girlfriend, or what, the first person to say I love you, and I said I love you, but he didn't say it back or whatever. I mean, these things are, it's like, I don't know if it's culture or what it is, but it really doesn't have to be. I mean, how many of us? Let's give me an example. Kobe Bryant, never met him. When Kobe died, how many grown men with beards was crying? Because, they was like, because the thing is, because Kobe, what he did, and how he played or whatever it might be, we loved him for it. He don't know us, but we loved him. And when he went away or whatever, it had something.
It's coming off cringy to me.
So, okay, all right. I mean, I'm just saying. So that's why I say this. It's much, much, much more important for you to love the people you're around. If they don't love you, first of all, you'll never know. You really don't know how that other person feels about you. They might say, "I love you." I mean, or listen,
they can love you, like just kind of tie into what we're talking about. They can love you, but not love you in the way that you understand love. Yeah. Right? Because we all have our own definition of what actual love is. You're like, man, this person doesn't bring me flowers. They don't cook me breakfast in bed. They don't love me. Well, I go to work every day. I feed, there's different ways.
But you're helping me. You're helping me with my point. That's why I say that for the man to be successful, if you make it dependent on other people loving you, I mean, listen, you might be chasing the love, trying to do things. Oh, wow, she says she's unhappy. So, even though I know this is not the right thing, I got to do all this. That's why I say for you to be successful, you need to be able to take care of your responsibilities. And then you need to be content with your situation. And you need to be around people that you love. If it's 1, great. If it's 10, great. If it's 100, great. But that people that you care about, a person that's surrounded by people who love him, but he don't care about, this person is in the most dangerous situation ever. You know who these people are? A good example of people like this are some of these rappers and entertainers who they became famous, surrounded by their whole crew or whatever. They be getting ripped off, killed sometimes, or as soon as they go broke, everybody disappears. These are people who love them, but they don't necessarily, or maybe they thought, but they're in a situation where if they just had surrounded with people who they loved, for some reason, feeling that
I would say that's an example of exactly the opposite of what I was, because like I think these rappers and athletes and all that, they love these people. They love these guys from their high school, their childhood. They bring them around. These people don't really love them. They like their fame, like their fortune, they like what they're getting out of them. And those are the ones that rip them off. That's why I was saying, like, you can love
many
people.
Many times they say how these people would just come around and they really didn't know them that well. They didn't know them that well. Now we can like there's lots of different scenarios we can go down. But
yeah.
The thing is that if you love another person, whatever you want to say, okay, who cares about how they feel or their love language that y'all want to throw that around? Fine. You don't need to figure out their love language. You don't need to know. All you need to know is, man, do I love this person? There's a reason for that. How they treat you, how they make you feel, whatever it might be. If you're surrounded by people that
I'm agree with this part, not to cut you off, but I'm going to agree with this. I kind of see where Mubarak is going. Basically, if you get to a point of love for someone, obviously there had to have been something that they were doing to get you to come to that point. So, for instance, our relationship here, I can confidently and comfortably say on air that I love these brothers right here. But how did I get to that point? You feel what I'm saying? So I agree with that.
But the thing is, this is the problem I have with it, right?
Are we saying true love, real love?
It's easy. The easier example is to see from the other side, from a woman's perspective, because it happens all the time, right? You have countless situations where a woman, her husband or significant others beats the crap out of her, but she loves him to death. That is not. There's also, it happens on the other side, right? Where there's men that are in abuse from a woman partner is different. It looks different than on a man's side. And a man that's in an abusive relationship with a woman and he loves her to death. To me, that's not that. Those are the exceptions that come out of that definition of success. That's why I was like, you have to put the criteria, like these people have to have like positive influence on it. They can't be like negative. You can't love a person that is basically bringing negativity to that equation, because then it like falls apart.
I agree. I definitely agree with you, Jaffer and Mubarak, because I think that, when men are in a situation where they don't love something or someone, then they become destructive. Like then they destroy those things. So they do have to surround themselves with people and things that they do love. And in terms of this relating to a successful man, I keep wanting to say men. I'm wondering, like, how do successful men vet people and seek authentic connections with the people that they are expected to provide for?
See, I'll chime in first. I don't think going on to Mubarak's, because Mubarak's absolutely right about it's more important to love. It's more important to have that relationship coming out of you instead of worried about what's coming back to you. That's how men should operate. Because kind of to counter what you just said, Mekhi, like we will do what a good man, a successful man. We talked about a good man, and now we're talking about a successful man. Will do his responsibilities and his duty, even if he doesn't love the person. So even if we are surrounded by people that we don't love, right? If we determine like, okay, that's our duty, that's our responsibility, I have to take care of this person and provide for the person, a good man will do that even if he doesn't love the person. But if we do have these people around us that we do love and get into it, and how to identify those is basically like, kind of goes back to what I was saying about being successful. Is what you're getting from them, does it align with what you view as success to be? Does it align to what you want in your life, right? And we'll go back to the example of being in an abusive situation. Do you want the success look like to you? You're a single man right now. You want to have a relationship. You want to have wife, kids, and all that. When you look at that success, do you envision yourself being with a partner who cusses you out in public, strikes you, hits you, uses your money, doesn't do like, what do you envision that relationship to be? So now that's when the vetting process begins, and this is going to be shows down the road that we're going to get into. Does that do you like that person because they tell nice jokes and they're funny, but at the same time they're abusive? No, it doesn't align with what your goals are. So that's where the vetting process, like, do I love this person for reasons that align with what I see as success in my future? And if you can look at that, then you're like, okay, you know what? Let's go to a typical man. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. But man, the tongue on her. Nah, I can't see myself being married to a person like that. That's the vetting process right there.
So let me ask a question. Actually, let me make before, because this is kind of a loaded question. So I don't know. Let me make sure that we don't have anything that we really need to address, or if Micaiah has anything before I I lead us down a long road that we might not be able to come back from.
Well, I had another question actually, so we can go back to that one. But I heard you guys throwing out, like celebrities' names around, like Shaquille or Kobe and stuff like that. So then it made me think like that media and popular culture do have a lot to deal with our perceptions of what it means to be a successful man. So I was wondering, like, what strategies do men use to maintain their own definitions of success? And does mentorship come in? Does mentorship factor in with that? Or is that something like, you just develop all on your own? I know I give you guys a lot of loaded questions, but I'm just so intrigued. So I apologize. Which one would you like to start with?
It definitely, like, it has to come from like to get your perception of success, instead of trying to get it from social media or TV or movies or anything like that. Is like, you literally are you set up a disaster. I mean, set up a disaster. I mean, it's like that's the wrong way to go. And surely if someone's, a dad is around, or, they have people around them as far as men concerned that can put them into perspective, then that would be a long way to go. It's like this, for instance, if if your son says to you, oh wow, I'm gonna be like Spider-Man or whatever, and they're trying to do all these weird things, and then their mother probably would say, yeah baby, you can do anything you want to be. Now the dad is gonna be like, number one, I'm better than Spider-Man. That's number one. Like whenever your son asks you, hey, can you beat up Superman? Yeah, I'll whoop Superman. Yeah. And so sometimes they'd be like, yeah, they might go around their little friends and be like, yo, my dad can beat up Superman. I mean Superman is all right. So the thing is, one of the good things about having a good, strong father figure in your life is he will put some of these delusions of grandeur in check pretty quickly. So you rarely will see someone's father like encouraging them to be like some social media influencer or whatever, while a mother might be like, yes, son, you can do it. Which, it's not. We're kind of like a governor like that. The mother gives that, give that environment for you to kind of explore, and then the father kind of trims it down and checks it down to where you can really things that you can really do. So I would say the social media influence, of course, should be ignored, but where that should come from, it should come from a father figure or people around you that should be able to, kind of give you examples or some things to work towards. So for instance,
this is consistent. What you're saying is consistent with what we've been able to see in the world. A lot of times when there's a good, strong father figure in the household, even going towards the women, a lot of times when the women are going awry or they're just doing a bunch of stuff, people will be like, where's your father? They don't necessarily say, where's your mother? They say, where's your father? Because just to Mubarak's point, he's going to make sure that you stay in a realistic framework of expectations and, what you can achieve or what you should be trying to achieve. He's going to make sure that you stay streamlined. I see this consistent with my son. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said, Mubarak, his mother, you do that, you do that. I come back, no, this is what you need to do. How you do X, Y, Z, whoop, whoop, wop. You know what I mean? I'm kind of going at it like that. And I've seen this happen with my father as well. When I decided to go off all into the clouds or something, he would always bring me back. No, Hussein, this direction. And he wouldn't just talk about it. he would lead by example, which is very, very important. So yeah, I would say that's probably one of the strongest structure forms that we can have in our lives to give us the correct perception or reality of what it means to be a successful person or a successful man.
And just to like tie it into everything we've been saying is that that's why we see it. This whole thing, all the stuff we're talking about subject by subject by subject, but it's a whole system and framework that we have to fall in. So like Makai, you asked, like, do they get mentors? And like the mentor hopefully is the father in the household right there, right? That's the first one. But if you're in a situation where, okay, I don't have a father in the household, my father's not here or whatever, then find someone that can fill in that space. That, okay, this is a father figure, right? If you're a single mother that does, for whatever situations you have children at home, you're raising them, find them a positive father figure, not someone you like, someone that could be fit in that. Okay, this is what I want my kid to be like or learn from. Like, so it all goes back to that. That's the mentor. That's the example. That's the one that puts them in check. That's the one that when the kid says, you know what, my goal is I want to live on Mars and have 3 alien wives, the father's going to be like, listen, man, the Earth's flat. We don't get out.
That is a pancake.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
but
it all goes back to the father.
Yeah. And I mean, like, this is definitely a topic for another show. But one of the things that does happen is sometimes the mother starts to influence and push the child in a direction because of their issue that they may have with the father, whether he's an ex or not. Sometimes it's like, you don't need to be like your father because of some of the struggles maybe they have. So they wind up actually, and for women who do this, you wind up doing yourself and your son a disservice, even if you disagree with some of the directions, and maybe you don't agree with the things that a father may be trying to do. The thing is, most likely, when it comes to, especially if they're men, the father still is going to be better at that than the woman. That's just it's just one of the universal things. So you disagreeing with your husband or your dad or what men or what is it now, misogynistic ideologies or any of this stuff. So instead you see women that go the complete opposite way. It was like a woman who she was so disenchanted by misogyny, she started making her son, who was a good basketball player, wear WNBA jerseys, and she only let him look at WNBA players to model his game after and stuff like that. It's like, lady, I mean, I can see if it was these are the type of things happening. So you just have to be careful of those type of things, because that does happen.
Side topic, I just I seen a little video clip, and this guy was commenting. There was this he was commenting this big black kid was dancing like feminine type dances. He's like, look at this boy. He's 6'6", 350, athletic. You could tell he's athletic because he's doing all types of crazy. Like, man, this dude could have been in the NFL, but look at him dance.
Yeah, we could go down a rabbit hole with that one. But,
look at him dance.
So these questions, these are ones that we did, or is self-care and mental health important to men? Nah, we don't need that, man. Okay. I mean, listen, man. You know what self-care, man. If you get like a 27-minute voice message from me out of the blue or whatever, that's my self-care. You know what I mean? That's But
a lot of these questions they're loaded because they're coming from, and I bet it's coming from a female perspective. The thing is that we all have to understand is that men and women are different. So the quick answer to that is that yes, men need self-care and mental health. It's very important, right? Men have high rates of suicide and all these different things. But self-care, mental health care for men is totally different than how a woman is going to get her self-care and mental health taken care of. It's totally different. So like Mubarak said, we handle our situations differently, but we shouldn't ignore it.
I agree with both these brothers here, but let me try to take a middle course here. The reality is nobody cares about a man's self-care or their mental health. Yeah. Nobody cares. You have a tight, small circle of people you can actually confide in on those type of levels. Or like to Mubarak's point, if he leaves a 20-something minute message, we, his companions, we understand already he has something he wants to get off his chest and communicate. So we fill that message or we fill that call and we listen and we hear him out. It depends on that type of tight structure. But truthfully,
we don't go screaming pillows. We don't.
Right.
We don't go writing journals.
Nobody cares.
I mean, lots of times we, the response or whenever it's like, okay, it is, don't do that. You can't do that. You know what I mean? Actually, it's like usually, we will get straight to the point and get direct and tell, each other what you might not be what you want to hear, but we need to hear. Sometimes, and that's the thing, maybe this question about self-care is like, sometimes women like throw that in there. It's like self-care is in, come to me for your self-care, and I can, no, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. I mean, if
I honestly don't think that women truthfully know what to do in those positions. Yeah. They say that they want to be there, or they say that they want to help, or, just come. I truthfully don't think they have any clue or idea of how to even handle those situations whenever you do, lower your wing or you
thing, right? So the best thing for
I'm talking about majority of women. There are those outliers, but majority of women they're clumsy with that type of stuff.
And look at this. Let me just give you an example. So if a woman would come to another woman and say, you know what, I'm just feeling like I just need to, I don't even want to live no more. I just want to give up. I don't want to do anything. They'll tell her, oh girl, you're strong and, you can do it. And, don't, you got a lot going for you, whatever. And those are nice things. I mean, those are nice things to say. Now, if I were to come to these two brothers and say the same thing, the first thing they would say is, yo, what are you talking about, man? Number one, because I could be feeling strong or not, but that really don't matter. You cannot do that. You can't give up. You can't kill yourself. You can't do these things. So the first thing out of their mouths would be, yo, nah, we ain't doing that. It's that you get it together. So for men and women, it's kind of different to what a man needs to hear and how they deliver it, to where some of that, and I don't know if that even necessarily falls into self-care, but that's where we took it. But the point is that men's self-care is going to be different, and the response is going to be different. So men, if you need self-care, deal with other men.
Go to the gym.
Yeah. Go to the gym. Get a punching bag. Or
I say the thing is, like, so if a woman really cares, like if you're talking about whether it's your son, whether it's like your significant other, and it's coming from a woman's perspective, if you're really worried about a man in your life, their mental health is struggling or whatever, the best way that you can help them is doing things that make them feel more like a man. And that's easy way to summarize it up, is to make them feel more like a man, and that will do loads for their mental health.
What is that exactly?
What's that?
What is that exactly? Like, how can a woman make the man feel more of a man?
Okay, so like for instance, I'll say let's keep a husband. You see your husband you see something's wrong with him. He's frustrated, angry, whatever, right? Simply let him come home without giving him any stress, serving him, providing other types of services to him, whether it be cooking for him, maybe giving him back rub, whatever it is, stuff like that makes him feel like, you know what, someone is taking care of me, right? Someone is taking care of these needs. I'm not stressed, giving them peace, right? If, for instance, he says, it might be something that's like irrelevant, right? He says, hey, I need you to do X, Y, Z. And you know what? It might not make no sense at all. But you're like, yep, I'm going to go do it. Because now you just made him feel like, oh, I'm being obeyed. I'm a man. I listened to him. I didn't talk back. And it might sound like, these might sound like, oh, you're just talking about like, just be subservient. Yes, you can. And this will help your man's mental health. And it will help.
Sometimes,
be more of a, go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes, because like sometimes if you're a wife or whatever, she sees that you're upset or whatever, she might say, "Oh, well, what's wrong?" And if you don't say anything, sometimes they have a tendency to try to, okay, we're gonna force it right now. You tell me, and then they just gonna like a little gnat, just going around. Is it this? Is it that? Or whatever. I think probably a better approach sometimes, if you see that your husband is upset, or you ask him and he doesn't say anything. I mean, you could just honestly sometimes you just sit quietly or whatever and just be like, okay, you know, I mean, just let him tell you. Eventually, he'll tell you if he wants to. If he really doesn't want to talk about it, he's not going to, and you might increase the problem by constantly bothering him about it. Sometimes you can just sit quietly. Now, for women, it might be different, because I know that for my wife, for instance, if she's upset, you know, or something, I can tell that she's upset, then I might go and I might just bear her and say, I'm not going to let you go until you tell me exactly what's going on. And she's like, I'm not going to say anything. And finally, then she just says everything. You know what I mean? But that might not work for, you know, the other way around. Now, my wife is like, I'm not going to let you go until you tell me. I'll be like, yo, get off me, you know, and then, you know, so it doesn't always work. But for men, sometimes it might be a thing where you just got to kind of just, you know, kind of stay quiet, but do your thing. And then
typically when a man is under some pressure or going through some stress or having some hard times, and I was using this analogy to my wife. Basically, the man would be the analogy like a battery. And the woman, y'all remember, I know y'all old enough to remember those old battery rechargers where you had the little AA batteries and you stick them on a little recharger and you plug it into the outlet. The woman is the battery recharger. You, the man, are the battery. The woman is the battery recharger. After a long day of stress and everything that's going on, you come and then she, you know, allows you to sit on. You're the battery. She is the charger. She recharges you in a multitude of ways, like what you guys were saying. Keep a tranquil, peaceful environment. The last thing a man wants to, even if he wanted to open up to you, he does not want to come back to you talking down, talking all crazy to him. You know what I'm saying? Your tone is out of pocket. You know, the house is dirty, or, you know, things like this. No, create a very, very comfortable environment for him. And typically that's enough to just simply decompress us. We're decompressed, we're chilled, we're relaxed. You say kind words. You know that he likes this particular meal. You want to lift up his spirits, go make him his favorite meal or something like this. There's a multitude of things that a woman can do in that space, you know, versus what we see a lot of women typically doing. A lot of times they will, if you don't even say the right thing, or if you say the wrong thing, remember, this is your problem. You have a problem, or you have an issue. You say something that they don't like. They turn it around and make it their issue and then try to randomly get mad at you. And then it's this big old weird energy. It's like, I was talking about you wanted me to express my issue, but then you flipped it all around because I said the wrong word or didn't say what you thought you wanted to hear or something like that. And then it gets into this particular direction. And I'll be just, this has happened so many times. I'm looking like, And this is also a deterrent to open up when a woman does this, and you can kind of like pick up on certain patterns. So two women do the things. A lot of times women don't listen to men. They just kind of just decide they want to do it their own way or do it how they think it should be done from a woman's perspective. When the men are screaming from the rooftops, these simple things that a woman can do to give that man some.
I'll give him a few plays for the women that are listening. You want to help your man's man in life. It could be your father, it could be your husband, or it could be your son even, right? You're either going through something, mental health, whatever, right? One, you can make them a nice meal. That's like an easy money one, right? Something you know they like, easy one, right? Two, you can have a discussion with them and ask them for advice and actually take their advice. It could be something very trivial, like, man, I don't know about XYZ. What should I do, right? Because men like solving problems. Part of the issues they're probably having is maybe they're not solving problems. And y'all typically don't like taking our advice, right? So, but actually just take the advice. That's another easy one to do, right? Another one is you can actually even get into, you got to be high level to do this one. Get into a little debate, nothing serious, and actually say, you're right. I was wrong. It can be something trivial, something very trivial. These little things will help, a little place that you can use in your relationships.
It will help. It will re-energize the man. It will help the man, just like, you know.
As soon as you say I'm wrong, you can be like, wait, what? You
Right.
Listen, it's like, yeah, have you ever seen a camel?
Women have this power.
Do you think a person can pull a camel through the eye hole of a needle? They'd have you giving them plays that will never work. That's like saying I got a play drawn up. If we on the 1 yard line, we're gonna have the running back throw the ball all the way into the other end zone. I mean, okay, on paper, yeah, that would work if he could do it. I mean, a woman having a debate and then admitting they're wrong.
That's why I said that's high level. That's expert level. That's 99.
Yeah.
99 rating.
But if we get serious for a second, no. But I would say one other trick you can use, one other way that you definitely can, if you have questions and things that you want to talk about, you want them to agree to something, or you really want to. And of course, there's always the respect factor is something that definitely factors in. But after y'all spend some time together alone, in the aftermath. Right after is when you can get your questions answered. Sometimes if you say, well, hey, you don't tell me anything, you don't open up to me or whatever, try it at that point in time. I mean, hey, this is a grown-up show, so I'm just telling you. I mean, in the aftermath, ask your questions. And you might find it. Huh? What's that?
Give them the other warning that goes with that. Not before.
Not before. Oh, no, not before. Not before.
Because this is a very bad habit that some of y'all have. Not before.
Yeah, you trying to. Yeah, I mean, it's like we're about to get on the runway. You talking about? Well, I was thinking, blah. And then you're gonna wind up ruining everything. You're not gonna get your question answered, nor are you gonna get everything else taken care of. So this is just gonna be a whole. Then everybody gonna be mad, So
yes.
Best thing is save it till afterwards. And then you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at what some of these people that they say, oh, they don't open up, or you don't say that. It might tell you.
Women have this ability. They have this power. I don't like to really use that word power, but we all have our strengths. Men have their strengths and weaknesses, and women have their strengths and weaknesses. And it makes more sense when women are playing into their strengths and men are playing into their strengths. Then you are able to create that symbiotic relationship and get to those higher levels, levels of understanding each other. You know what I'm saying? And being able to, continue on in a very fruitful relationship. So, and we have
we need to do a whole show on just the power. I call it a power. The power of femininity, because men have a physical strength and a more like an intellectual. There's something that men have over women as far as strength and some of our stability in emotions, maybe, but by no means does it mean women don't also have something equally that strong and overpowering to men. Femininity will penetrate any man, no matter how hard he is. It will break him down and make him like putty in your hands. But a lot of women, for whatever reason, they either it takes some trust, it takes some vulnerability to be able to use it effectively. But when they do, the ones who have that femininity on lock,
they win it.
They win it. Their husbands can't resist when they say, "Hey, do this for me. Can you do this for me?" They get whatever they want. When they want something done, they'll do it.
Keep screaming it from the rooftops, and no one's listening. I don't understand, but yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah,
so we'll leave it there.
Big problem and all that, but yeah, well, that's a whole nother discussion. We're not go down the rabbit hole, but that's 100%.
So what questions do we have? I think our friend.
What was the loaded question you had?
The loaded question.
Hold up. Well, let's get to Lucille's. Lucille had a question. Is that she said she believes that the mother plays an important part in her son's life. Yeah, but I do wonder. What I wonder is what she means. Like, what role does she believe that the mother plays in the son's life? I think that's true. The mother does play an important role, but like, what is that role? Sometimes that's where the confusion lies. The mother wants to be the mother and also the father at the same time. Sometimes, but that's the only rebuttal to that question, or more clarification that I would like. But as far as my question, I don't know if we can cover it today, but I'll ask it anyway. Can a man love a woman who does not respect him? Okay, so now I'm not talking about a woman who just disrespectful from time to time. Let me lay it out real quick. Not a woman who just says things that are disrespectful or whatever. Maybe she annoys you, because this happens in every relationship. But I'm talking about a woman. The man knows that she does not respect him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she doesn't have like respect for him. She has zero respect for him. So
short answer,
like, she's, doing what?
short answer, I would say no. I would say that's not, once again, goes back into what I was saying. That's not real love, because men, we associate respect with love. We don't really care that much about love over respect. And I think I can speak for most men when I say this. Of course, you guys can have some pushback, but most men would regard respect over love. So I don't really feel like I don't feel like you can love a woman that really doesn't respect you, because it's not going to align.
I agree with you, and I think it's the same thing for women. Like, if a man can't love a woman who doesn't respect him, I think it goes the same way. A woman cannot respect a man that doesn't love her too.
Okay.
I say yes. I say it happens all the time. Especially nowadays, you see men that fall in love with all types of women that have absolutely no respect for them at all.
Yeah, that goes back to what I was basically saying. I don't really view that as love. I think that's just a word they're throwing in to substitute for something that they can't really quantify or come up with, a word to fit it in there. So they just use the word love.
Well, that's the thing. Love has no real definition. If they say if someone says I love them, they love it.
I think when you look at some of those men who their women walk all over them, and it appears like they're doing everything, I think they're like that for these women because they have the idea in their mind that the access to this woman will be cut off, and they don't know how to. I rarely see that happen to men. That's what I'm saying. It's not love, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's love. They don't love these women. It's just like, if I need food, right? Whoever's giving it to me, right? If the restaurant says line up, take your ticket and sit down and wait or whatever, I'm doing whatever I got to do because I want my food. It's the same thing. They want to have intercourse with these women, or they want to continue to have access to that. So the woman treats them all types of ways, and maybe they will divorce them, put them on alimony, take their children, whatever it might be, and they can't go and get anyone else to fill that void. So they're stuck basically doing whatever, being disrespected or whatever, but they only have access to one woman. If they step out of line, they're going to get destroyed financially. And so they don't have another option. So
flip it on the other side. Flip it, Mubarak. Flip it on the other side. Let's say a woman who really respects her man. That, she really adores him. She looks up to him. You know what I mean? She wants to be submissive, wants to be agreeable, wants to be cooperative and get on his part. She respects this man. What is that going to in turn do for the man? This man is going to develop love for her. Yeah. He's going to develop love. It's not, if she comes in the gate disrespecting, doing all this, I wouldn't call that love, like Mubarak is saying, Jaffer. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go against you on this one. I wouldn't call that love, because again, what we just flipped it on the other side. If the woman comes in this position and shows this man respect, gives him his due, he's going to in turn start to reciprocate that with the version of love that women often talk about that they want. But if it's on the other side, that man is not about to, again, it depends on what type of, a lot of times men got to go through what they're going through. So that goes back to what we were talking about with what is a real man.
But you see, the thing is, the man that is what appears to love a woman who has no respect for him whatsoever, it's because what he loves actually is his libido. What he loves is his fear of not having someone to have sex with. That's just it.
That is not
That's
love.
it. That's what he's in love with. He doesn't realize it. He said
First,
because she.
Before you have any of these conversations or these points on anything, first y'all have to define what is love.
We can't define
Exactly.
that.
Define
You
it.
cannot tell somebody that they do not love or cannot love somebody if just by discounting, saying no, you don't love them. If someone says
Okay, let me
I
ask you a
love
question.
this person, then that means they love them, because you cannot take that. So love is a subjective, personal, perspective thing. So
yeah, exactly.
So let me ask you a question.
It comes down to a matter of the heart. Like, we have to remember that, you know, like even if on the day of judgment, you're asked about you watching pornography, you know, and wasting your time watching pornography all your life. And then, you know, that's what your heart wanted. That's what your heart desired. And you could say, no, I didn't love pornography. I didn't love naked woman. I didn't love, but your heart literally longed for that. It comes down to a matter of that piece of flesh that is inside of your chest.
I don't think I can disagree
I don't know.
with that.
I don't know, because I mean, people have because people do have
love. You don't have to call it love, but you have a desire and longing for it. You know, and
desire. I mean, people like food. I mean, people have the same thing. People have the same issues with pornography that they have with food, that they have with drugs, that they have. These are addictions. The same thing. They might not love it. I mean, there's plenty of people that say, "Man, I hate what alcohol does to me." They hate it. They wake up the next day, they're hangover, whatever, and they hate it. They wish, but for whatever reason, they have gotten entrapped in an addiction. But it's just like food. Just like what I'm saying is that, and that's why I'm asking, any of these men that you see that are dealing with a woman who treats them any type of way, you said, man, this woman just disrespect her husband. She has no respect for him whatsoever. I guarantee you, he's a person who either is not able to, in his mind, really, because it's really not that hard, actually, but he feels like he's not able to get another woman, or he doesn't, or he is stuck due to some financial or some legal wranglings that will keep him from able to access, because if he does, and that woman finds out, she's going to make his life a living hell. So then he winds up stuck. There are men who are stuck in marriages that they have not actually even been able to be intimate with their wife for months sometimes. And she's holding the key, holding the gate. And he has to jump through all these hoops just to have some physical interaction with a woman. And so I guarantee you will not find one of these men who can. They can.
I can find dozens probably. We could just look at famous people.
No,
we could look at famous people.
Just because they're famous, that the same thing still applies. If that famous person, if they're married to that person,
why does it gotta be married?
Because I'm telling you, they will be trapped. They're trapped.
Why does it gotta be marriage though? So we're talking about, the question was, can a man love someone that disrespects them? My wife sometimes watches those Desperate Housewife things, and I see plenty of men that, according to their claim, love these women they're with, and they could easily go get somebody else. Easily.
They can, but the consequences will be high for them. That Desperate Housewife, you see how she's acting on that show? She's going to make his life a living hell if he does. He's going to lose half of his money. He's going to have some things. And so he's putting up with that because a lot of these people are, because of their situation, that you mentioned the Desperate Housewives, a lot of these people are financially well off. So they have actually been able to outkick their coverage, so to speak. They've been able to get access to a woman that normally, if it's just one-on-one without any money or any fame involved, they won't get that girl. That girl wouldn't be interested in him. But she's interested in him because of some of the external factors he has going on, not his physical beauty or charm or anything like that. So they know that this type of woman is going to come. He has to get her with his money, with his reputation and all that stuff. So she has him trapped. She has him by the jewels, so to speak. So these are the only way that a woman will be able to deal with a man like that. They don't realize, or they have got themselves in a situation where they have narrowed their access. The only access they have is to this woman without serious financial and social issues that comes with stepping outside.
No,
and so
I definitely disagree. I definitely disagree.
Give me an example of one man. Give me an example of one man who gets run over top of by his woman, and he could easily get
No. That's reframing it. You got to give me one example. You gotta give me one example of what you're saying, and the guy says, I do not love her. That's what you have to provide. Because the question is, can a man love a woman that doesn't respect him? You saying whether they can get out of the relationship or not. A person could be stuck in a relationship and still not love a person. A person could be stuck in a relationship and still love the person. That doesn't change whether that other person respects them or not.
I say the only people who stay in relationships where they don't love a person is because they're stuck.
But that doesn't answer whether they actually love the person or not.
Yeah, and I'm saying that the man is not going to love a woman. He's not going to love a woman who treats him badly.
You could be not in a relationship. You could be not in a relationship and still love the person.
Yeah.
True or not?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
So whether that other person respects you or not does not tie with whether you actually love them. Because I see all the time that people that they say they love somebody and you have to take their word for it. Right. And you see how that other person treats them. Like that person does not, they'll even say it. I don't respect you. You're not a man. They'll say these things. But the man will still say, I love you, baby. I love you. I love you.
I never heard
that. You got to say they're lying.
You must. I mean, I don't know. I'll defer to your experience, but I ain't never seen it, and I've never seen it in any level where these women who run just roughshod over their men. Mm-hmm. They're usually people who you look at him, you like he ain't got no business with that girl anyway. So maybe he could get another person, but not like that, not that looks like that, and not that So he's in love with the access. Her personally, you don't love her, man.
Respectfully, we're going to disagree. You're not
going to love a person. You're not going to love a person that treats you badly. You might love the fact
you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
No, okay, so all right, so
I wouldn't.
Let's condense the question. What majority? Let's do the majority versus the minority. Majority of men would not accept that a woman disrespecting them and then he's loving her. Majority of men would not do that. Now, of course, you have a subset of men, or you have a group of men who will allow this. Majority of men would love a woman if she respects him. He can develop that love.
Well, that's
majority.
That's different.
So can we at least agree on that? Because if we go to the majority and the minority,
it's just how you said it. You said like a man will love a woman just because she respects him. No, that's
not saying just because. What was the question? What was the question? The
question was, can a man love a woman that doesn't respect him?
As in his wife or his significant other. That's what I'm talking about. Not just any woman, but a person that he is with, his wife. He has an intimate relationship with her.
Majority of men cannot love a woman that does not respect him.
I don't know about majority or minority.
That doesn't mean, like you said before, that doesn't mean he's not going to continue to do his job, his responsibility. That doesn't mean that he's not
that love because she's not giving him the angle and the avenue to develop the love.
I'm saying you can't answer that question because one, you have to define love. And you'll have to, for y'all to answer that question, you'll have to bring examples of someone who says, you'll have to bring examples of someone who says, this woman disrespects me and I do not love her and I'm staying with her.
Okay, so
you have to bring
because love has all of these various different
love. You keep trying to define love without defining love.
Well, we all know that love is subjective. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So hold on.
Yeah.
But universally, when someone thinks of the truest form of love, even though we know it has some subjective branches, the truest form of love, let's apply that. What we all know is
so what is that definition?
I got it for you.
What's the truest form of love?
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you this. This is how you know. If a man and a woman, they are together, right? If that woman was not able to be intimate in any form, shape, or fashion with that man, would he stay with her? That is when a man loves a woman. He's going to stay with her and so if you eliminate intimacy out of the picture, hold up. I'm trying to help you because you needed to distill it down. So hold up. Let me just say it. Let me get it out.
Okay.
If you take intimacy out of the picture completely, So this man has to live, interact, and deal with this person on a daily basis, but you just eliminate intimacy altogether.
Yep.
Now, okay, do you like just being around her? Are you
So
comfortable?
is that the definition of love you're going with? That's your definition of love.
I would say that. Don't try to lawyer me up, man, because
no, because it's all falling short. Because there's love, and here's the thing: love is just a feeling that you cannot define, that attaches you to somebody else with just a feeling that you will not be able to describe. You'll be like, oh, it feels warm, whatever. But you can't describe it. Right?
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Okay, let's just go with the
then you go into what causes love. And now what causes love is different for every single human being. So even in that situation, right, where a man is married to a woman who cannot have any intercourse or whatever, right? He might love her because she has a PhD in psychology and he just loves people that are smart. But she disrespects the crap out of him. You're so dumb. You only got a GED. But then when she goes out and gives lectures, he's sitting in the crowd like, damn, look at her go.
Okay, I'm telling you. Listen, I don't have some sort of poll or data to back it up, but I'm telling you, these men who are getting dog walked on a daily basis by their women, if there was no sort of access in any way, shape, or form of any sort of intimacy, any sort of fulfilling their desires sexually with these women, if that was eliminated and they just had to deal with these people on a daily basis, they would be gone within a week. They would just dissipate. I think
that's
so.
Not true.
Because what are they staying for then? Just to be treated like trash?
Situations like that where the man and woman that are married, that you see that she dog walks him and they ain't been intimate in years.
Because he has a hope. He's hoping for it. He's not hoping.
Or he's not
trapped with kids, or he's trapped with kids, or trapped with alimony, threatening alimony, taking half his house, and all these things.
Well,
there's some
that
external factor
that might be the reason.
Forcing him to stay with her.
That might be the reason, but here's what I'm trying to get at. Like, I'm not disagreeing about people being trapped. They usually stay in those situations and all. That's we know that. I'm talking about the love aspect of it.
So how can you? I mean, what? Yeah. Okay. Like I said, this question.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Time out. Let me ask y'all this.
Yeah.
So I'm asking this to you, Jaffer. Do you believe in the concepts of real love or true love? Do you think that exists, or is that just some made up?
No, that's just adding another word that you can't.
We hear this all the time. True love and real love. Because if you believed in this concept, then I'm going to challenge you on what are those aspects. But of course, you can run out the back door and just say you don't believe in these concepts.
No, so there's no such thing as true love. There's no such thing as real love if you don't know what love is.
Well,
right? You like say I got a thingamabob, and you're like, what's a thingamabob? Well, can't really define a thingamabob, but you know what? We can define a true thingamabob. Well, tell me what a real thingamabob is. You don't know what it is.
You know what love is. Love is like it's a
I know what love feeling. Is to me.
In general.
Jaffer, you're real slithery. You're real slithery.
And he does this to us a lot. Like he waits for a few little points, and then no matter what, you can never close the door. He's like he got a little wedge in the door. So every time you think you got it closed, he got something in there, but you can't pin him down all the way. And then he just runs off with the conversation.
This is what y'all got to understand, and this is what us men have a problem understanding. Right? We see things black and white. We see things from our own perspective, right? We see things, and that's a problem we have, and especially you have a problem when we deal with it from a woman's aspect, right? And the more that we can understand these subtleties, because we're saying love, and we have in our mind, this is what love is how I understand it, and that's how everybody should understand it, right? And without even thinking about it, we enforce our understandings onto other people. And I bet you every single woman in that audience understands exactly what I'm saying, because they know love is different for each person. They know there's no real way to explain it. They know that they understand fully how someone can be in a situation that is totally negative to them. And you know why they can understand it, right? Here's the perfect example. And we've all heard this story. It's a Sufi goofy story, right? About the son that comes in and kills both his parents, right? Y'all heard this story? This son was a murderer. He comes in, kills both his parents. And the mother is like, hurry up, son, run away so they don't catch you. It's just a story to exhibit the mother's love. A mother will love her kid in the midst of him killing her. So they understand that concept. Like, I still have these feelings that for whatever reason I have these feelings for this person, I feel this connection, even though this person is not good for me, even if this person doesn't love me.
I've never heard that goofy Sufi story.
You never heard that story?
Ever. And it sounds just as bad as I can imagine it sounding. But go ahead.
How many mothers do you know that their kids are totally trash? Treat them bad, disrespect them, don't honor them, don't do crap for them, take money from them, steal them, abuse them. And then the mother's like, I love that kid to death. I will die for that kid.
Yeah, because it's part of her body. I mean, like literally, it's her flesh and blood.
Yeah,
you know? So, I mean,
but you can't tell her he ain't respecting you. You don't love him. You can't say that to her.
But Jaffer, hold up. Let me pull you back, because this is what you do to us. Now you took it from a mother and a son, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about between a man and a woman. Well, not obviously
the same thing happens to men.
Because that's a whole different type of thing. That's a whole different type of thing. It's like
no, it's not. It's not.
Listen, I'm standing in my position. I believe that men, can a man love a woman that does not respect him? Short answer, no. Ultimately, long answer, no.
Yeah. And I say,
neither one of y'all. Y'all never had a companion that you're always like, dude, why are you still going for that? Why are you still into that?
Yep.
And they're like, man, I can't explain it, man. She just does it for me.
No, it goes back to what Mubarak was saying. If that person had the opportunity, or if he wasn't getting what he wants from that woman, he'd be gone in a week, maybe 2 weeks. This is the truth. For majority, we're talking about majority.
However long it takes for him to rent the U-Haul, that's how long it would take for him to get out of there.
Right.
However long it takes for him to, he might need to finish out his lease or whatever.
So let me ask that. This is my last question. So in that situation where the guy can leave, and he does leave, did that change his feelings to her?
What do you mean by this?
Did that change his? He left.
Mm-hmm.
He left. He went. She wasn't giving him access to whatever he wanted. He left. Did him leaving and separating change his feelings for her?
I think it more so. I think it just revealed what he already felt. I think he just kind of acted upon it.
How many men can you look at that said, I divorced my wife because she didn't respect me? I still love her though, but we can't be together.
I don't hear men talking like that.
Well, you don't hear men talking like that, period. But how many situations can you say like that's a reality?
Because she didn't say it again. Because she didn't really respect.
She didn't respect me,
or
whatever other reasons. I left her. We're divorced, but I still love her.
Again, I think when people are throwing out that
I'll give you that. That can happen. That can happen. But I'll stick with my thing is.
I think people just throw the love word out willy-nilly. I don't really think
you can do love, no love, whatever you want to call it, whatchamacallit, thingamabop, whatever. The man, no man is going to stay with a woman that does not respect him. He's trapped. I mean, that's it. But I know. I mean, I told you this question. Right? I knew it was going to go down a rabbit hole. I don't want to disrespect the questions that we had. So
yeah, you're right.
Let's make sure. But see, even Unc had made a statement about the hadith where the lady kept committing adultery, and the Rasulullah said, "Leave her," and he said, "Well, he loves her," and he said, "Okay, keep her." I said, "That's the thing." Now that person, I mean, we don't know all the context, but most likely there was some sort of reason as far as why he was going to stay with her, even though that she was very respectful to him, but she just had to get some extra on the side. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, the reason's right there, right?
Hold on.
He said, "But I love her." That's why he stayed with her.
But hold on. Unc said before that, my answer to Mubarak's question is no with an exclamation. So Mubarak at 10, he said it right here.
That was a different question. He typed that before this question.
No, that was the question. You typed that after, but that was the question. But I know we kind of stepped on Micaiah. I know that she had made a statement, and that I was thinking where we should go back to it, and then we kind of got off the track. So we apologize for that. But I think I think what Micaiah said was, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, is that a woman is not going to be able to respect a man who doesn't love her. Was that the statement that you made?
Yes, correct. Because I would have to agree with you and Hussein Mubarak, that a man is not going to stay with a woman that does not respect him. And me as a woman, I am not going to respect and stay with a man that does not love me. Like if I know, like, okay, he doesn't love me, there's no way I'm going to respect you, or that you can expect respect from me. Yeah, I don't agree with that. So just the same way I agree with you and you guys that there's no way that man is going to keep that woman if she doesn't respect him. So I just feel like do y'all think that is a fair point for a woman?
I got a question. So this might have to lead into next show. I'm going to pose this. What the definition you just gave, because what Mubarak's saying is true about for in majority of that. I was disagreeing with just like can it happen? I believe yes, it can happen. But as far as like what men consider and will define as like what is love, you're gonna see the majority of men that they're gonna have some kind of form of respect in that definition of what they think love is, right? Now, you being a woman, living in America, a Western modern woman that we've all been kind of conditioned and socially trained to certain things. Do you think any of that, your definition of that you won't be with a man or you won't love a man that doesn't respect you? How much of that is crossed over to like
she won't she will not respect the man that doesn't love her? Is that because
yes, so remember like respect doesn't really mean, it doesn't hold as much weight to women as it does to men. Only love does.
Okay. I had it backwards then, because I was going to say if you were including respect as part of your definition of love, I was going to say that was probably an effect of society of men becoming or women becoming more like men and men becoming more like women. Because I know a lot of situations.
So to Micaiah's point, which one would come first then, the chicken or the egg? So basically, and again, we got to ask this question because a lot of times we get into this space where the woman doesn't want to respect the man because she doesn't feel like she's getting the love. And the man's like, you know what I mean? This woman is not respecting me, so I can't give her that love. You know what I mean? And it just gets into that space where like, who goes first? This ties back into our show the name of A Man's World. Ultimately, a lot of times the man has to shoot first. He has to go first. And then because he's in a leadership position or role, women will follow. So you have to give women love. You know what I'm saying? We know we're supposed to be kind to women. You have to give them this to then pull this respect or garner this respect. And so I would think that.
I have to agree.
I don't know what you said. I don't know what answer you gave though, Hussein. I'm confused about what you're saying. So does it come first that the woman should respect the man, okay, as first? And then, due to that respect, he loves her, or he has to show her love. He shows her love, and then because of how this love that he shows, then she respects him.
I would be inclined to say that the man has to go first. Man. Typically, I would be inclined.
So here's the thing, right? I don't think we can cover this. We're going to go overtime because this is a deep topic. Because you got to go into Mubarak hates this. This goes into love language now, right? Because typically, how a man shows his love is going to be the same things that if he's a good man, he's going to do even if he doesn't love the person.
So basically, I would kind of agree with Jaffa right there. So basically, a man is going to be doing his robotic duties anyway. He's going to be going through his normal, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He's going to prioritize that over love. You know what I'm saying? He's going to do this, and then the woman is going to hopefully, like I said, I don't know, but hopefully the woman would then in turn start to gain some respect from him or for him. So
I'm disappointed, Hussein. I'm disappointed.
Go ahead.
No, because I mean, it's like
I always think that the man has to go first because ultimately we do go first. Who goes first?
How do you show love? Like, how does a man show love?
First of all, let's reset it. It's a man's world, and we have to understand that. So, if it's a man's world, the man sets the rules. He sets the regulations. He sets the environment for his household, for his environment. So, when a man marries a woman, she comes into his family, his household, under his leadership. So the first thing that she should do is respect his authority, respect his rules, his regulations, his situation. If she comes in and doesn't do that, now possibly you could say, well, it's coming at the same time. But before he can ever love her, right? Because he doesn't live with her, he doesn't have a relationship like that, they're not together. But off the rip, before anything ever starts, she comes into the situation knowing that I got to respect this person because he's a man, he's an authority or whatever. If she's not already coming with that respect already, you're already behind the 8 ball. You already took an L. If you're already showing this love, which
I'm trying to
not anti-love. But what I'm saying is that
I gotta stop you right there. I'm talking about the man coming in doing his duties. He's going first. He's shooting first. Not, oh, I'm coming in and I want.
But the question was, what Micaiah said was that a woman, from her perspective, a woman is not going to be able to respect a man who doesn't love her, right? And so what I'm saying, I'm taking the opposite. I'm saying that may be the case, but so as far as which comes first, the woman has to show that respect first for that dynamic to keep going, because then if she doesn't respect you and then you're just loving her, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh, now I respect you because I've received I have perceived this love.
You're missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the man's not going to do that. We already know men don't even operate like that. Someone's not going to come in and start, oh, I love. No. I'm basically talking about the man has to pretty much, like you just said, Mubarak, you just said, the man sets the table. So when he sets the table and he has things built out, the woman then comes in. Now, she might even be skeptical about how she's going to reciprocate the quote unquote respect. You feel what I'm saying? A man's not going to then start, oh, I just love her because I brought her in. No, he goes first by setting the table. Do we agree on that?
Can we stop acting like love is the ultimate goal of a relationship, and
I don't care about no love.
And two, that it's something that you can freaking control. You can
control. You can control your love. You can't control how a person the other person. But I would say, I used to be a person who, like I was saying, I don't care nothing about no love. Just do what you're supposed to do. This was my thing. But it's so much better. It's so much better when there is love involved. It's so much better. And so the thing with that is, and I'm not trying to pick on my guy. Really, I'm not. But this show we tell the truth. I feel like that the position or the statement that Micaiah is making about how she cannot respect a person who doesn't love her, I think it's dangerous for women to take that approach, because it might take you some time to really feel that love from the man. Because I'm not gonna call it a love language. We're not gonna call it a love language or whatever. But the man is, if he is feeling respected and honored and and feeling important and all those things that come with respect, because it's a whole spectrum that comes with that. But if he's feeling that and if he's getting that from the woman, then if he's a good man, he's going to eventually, if it's not immediate, maybe it might take some time. It may take you showing him or just telling him, what you're needing. But if the respect is not there, he's probably not going to do it. Like, he's not going to get to where you're going to get the bare minimum. You're going to get the basics, whatever the fine print says, that's what you're going to get. but the man who then loves his woman, she's going to get everything, all the basics, plus all the extras, all the extra bonuses she's going to get,
So
right. I
I
wanted to
think
return to that point, actually, Mubarak. I want to return to that point because I feel like, I'm thinking along those lines when I'm saying that, not that like the man's love has to come from me to me first. It's just that like you were saying earlier, if a man is surrounded by people he does not love, what is that doing? Like, what is that doing for him? Like, he has to have people to love, right? And so then you would say that if he is surrounded by people he doesn't love, like, wouldn't he become destructive, and wouldn't that be worthy of withdrawing your respect from him? Like, wouldn't you, like, especially I know me as a woman, like I know, okay, this man does not love me, I'm going to withdraw my respect. Like, that's what is there to respect. Like, he might be an abusive man, he might just not regard you in the way that he would regard someone that he does love. So I'm going to be like, what is there to respect? And that's when the relationship ends. And I just feel like that's just the same as equal. If the man senses that there's no respect here in the relationship, he's like, what is there to love with this girl? I don't get like, yeah. So I feel like oh man, I'm losing my train of thought. But
no, I hear you, and I will help you out in this regard. That we as men, we can't just act like there's respect got to be there and that's it. The one thing is that as men, we have to be respectable. We have to be respectable. Yeah, you can't be someone who doesn't possess any respectable qualities, or you're constantly wishy-washy in and out of being respectable and manly and all these things, and then falling all over yourself and being, someone who is not responsible, is not, manly, is not these things. If you lose your composure, if you find yourself doing unrespectable things, or if that's a word, things that are not respectable from time to time, it's very hard to get it back. Like, respect is a thing where it comes standard, but once you lose it, it's very hard to get back to where you were. So as men, we have to be respectable at all times. We can never, as I tell people all the time, you can never let them see you slip. You can slip around other men, right? You can be vulnerable or maybe weak around other men that you trust, that can help, build you up or whatever. But you can't slip and be and drop your level of manliness, and your standards of manhood.
Everything you're saying ties right back into what we talked about just a few minutes ago. The man has to go first. You just said it. You said he has to be what? Respectable first. You know what I'm saying? He has to be respectable, and he sets the table. Now, all that lovey-dovey, fluff, or whatever you want to call it, true love, real love, blah, 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 that stuff comes and it gradually grows. Me personally, I'm not a big love guy. Like, I don't really put too much emphasis on that. I'm really kind of like a standard, just let's do our jobs. Let's, man, do his job, woman, do your job. And, with the permission of God, you know what I'm saying, we will be successful. Stay in our frames. Don't get outside of your frame. Try not to get outside too much. Woman, try not to get outside of your boundaries. You know what I mean? This is a whole other topic for a different episode, but, woman understanding something as simple as controlling your tone when you're talking with a man. Understand this simple thing. Handle your tone correctly. Now, you might even not like what he's saying. Control that tone. You know what I'm saying? This can dictate how the conversation may flow. But
this idea of love and the pursuit of love in relationships is probably one of the biggest causes of the failure of modern relationships today. People don't understand what love is, and people basically, we talk about being content. People are chasing this thing that they don't even understand, and ruining their relationships and ruining their lives, chasing this thing that they do not even understand because they want true love. And then you ask them, well, what's love? Well, and they can't even understand what love is for themselves. Mm-hmm. So like, we got to get away from, and we could talk about, this is higher level stuff, but if you're going to get in a relationship with somebody, you shouldn't be thinking about like, who goes first? How do I get respect first or give love first? Whatever. You should be like, okay, I'm going to get in a relationship with this person, and I'm going to, just like you guys said, I'm going to do my job in this relationship. The woman should be coming to, I'm going to do my job of what I'm going to guarantee, because one, and this is the problem, like we're going to be telling people, you shouldn't be having all this in-depth interaction, premarital conversations, relationship before you actually engage. Like, let's do this together, right? So you're not going to be like, oh, this is the person I can love, or I'm starting to love them. There shouldn't even be any of that. There should be like, you know what? This person can take care of the responsibilities. They have the qualities that I'm looking for in a partner. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to engage in this partnership together. Then eventually, like, you may feel you love somebody, but then you might look back at that and say, you know what? That really wasn't love. Now I know that that wasn't love. That was lust, or I was just, whatever. Eventually, if y'all both doing y'all jobs in a relationship, the man's doing what he's supposed to do, the woman's doing what she's supposed to do, guess what? After 20, 30 years, you look back and like, you know what? I really love this person. And you won't even know what happened. It'll just happen. There's no, she respected me first, so then I started loving her. Or she's like, oh, he loved me first, and then I started getting. If you're going through a relationship like that, you're going to fail no matter what.
Yeah.
I agree.
In short, we can sum it up by saying, listen, every woman should respect their man. If he's respectable, respect him, regardless of whether love is there or not. And every man should love and appreciate his woman. And if she's lovable, then love her.
So, do we have time for a couple questions, or will we like to wrap up this?
Yeah, we might as well answer them quick. We can do them quick.
Yeah.
All right. So, first one that we have here, do men think that the only job, this is from a woman, I guess maybe from our last episode, do men think the way this is worded, is the man's only job to maintain his wife and children?
Short answer, no.
It's the most important job. It's the most important job, but there's other things though. But that is probably, I would say, if we would have put a percentage on it, it's probably at least 75% of the job.
So what was the question again? Is it only to maintain, and what is it?
Yeah, is the man's only job to maintain his wife and children?
Well, I guess the short answer is yes, because there's a lot of things that fit into maintain that you're thinking of monetary stuff, but there's other stuff that fits into there, other physical, emotional, and all that stuff. That's all within maintain. So yes and no. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm going with no, but go ahead. That's short answer.
Okay. All right. Does looks really matter if the person is, in their words, perfect otherwise? So if they're religious, kind-hearted, submissive, chaste, her heart is attached to the masjid or to the deen, but she is a 2 on a scale to 0 to 10, does looks really matter?
Short answer, I'm going to no again.
Hold on.
Come on, man.
Hold up.
You trying to keep this short and condensed, guys. I got no for that question.
Hold on. Wait. The question was, do looks really matter? If the person is perfect otherwise, but she is a 2, I would say listen, I know Unc is laughing right now. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna just say this because this really, wallahi, this is a topic for another show. But the short answer is, if you had 10%, right? You out of 10, if you're gonna choose, you can put a point for beauty, right? Or a point for everything else, like personality, or what you say.
Yeah.
Out of 10. If I could choose, if I could have a woman who was a 9 in personality, like all the way that she just femininity and everything was 9, and just give 1/10 for beauty, I would take that woman. 9 on personality, 1 in beauty. You will have a magnificent time and life and experience with her. But you might have more fun in a short span of time with the woman who's a 9. You got 9 in beauty and all that stuff, but the personality and everything else is a 1. I mean, listen, sometimes you're gonna be like, it's wonderful, but for the most time, that eventually it's gonna be like a train wreck. So to answer the question, because I know I opened up a Pandora's box there. If you got a woman who's a 2 in beauty and everything else is wonderful, marry her.
100%. I agree 100%.
Okay.
But just real quick, it does matter. It does matter. It does matter because most people, men are visual creatures.
Mhm.
So most men, they won't even get past anything else. They'll see the visual. But if you are a 2, you need to start looking for some more mature men that are past that phase in their lives, which may be a man that's already married, but that's another show.
Yeah, for real.
Like I said, that's another show.
Hey, I'm not falling for it. I'm keeping my answer short and straight to the point. No.
So our last and final question before we wrap up is actually a cluster of questions. And this is from a lady. She's asking, how active are you guys on social media? Do you post on IG, Facebook, TikTok, etc.? Do you find these platforms to be a fitna with so much nudity? And would you DM someone if you were truly interested in her for marriage?
I think I can answer for all of us is that none of us are active on social media. So yeah, I don't think any of us are active on social media. I think we use it primarily for that self-care. Like when we're decompressing, we might go look at videos or something like that. But as far as like how people go and post their whole lives on social media, none of us are doing that.
We don't even got the time to do any of that. I mean, we actually have real families and real situations and a lot going on, and we try to make as much time as we can to do this. And of course, it's always enjoyable because we care about each other and we enjoy each other's companies. So,
hey, y'all, stop dodging the question. Would you DM a woman you were interested in?
Why you skip to that part?
I was going to let you answer the hot topic one. No, I would not. And I would say personally, I've had people DM me, and I'm just like, sorry, I don't operate that way. Sorry, sister, I don't work that way. I'm married. I'm Muslim. Yada yada. I don't do that. I know that's how the world operates nowadays, but that's not how I would try to find someone for me. That's just not how I operate.
I would agree with Jaffa right there. It's everything he said. So I would agree with that.
Hey man, hey, listen. If you like what you see or what you hear, I don't see no harm in it. I mean, listen, it's not like if it's just like if you're DMing a person or you have a profile on a matrimonial website or whatever. I mean, if what the person is saying or presenting themselves at is something that is attractive to you. Now, everybody on social media is not necessarily someone who's a problem. There's good people that are on social media for whatever reason. Now, is it the most traditional way, DMing somebody? No, but if you like what you see and you think, hey, there's a chance there. I mean, I don't see how I don't see no harm in it. I don't see no problem. So if you're froggy, hop.
All right. Well, that is a wrap for today's episode. I want to thank you all for tuning into this episode of Man's World Podcast. We hope that you found our discussion on what is a successful man enlightening and thought-provoking. I think we have to remember that success is a journey and it's not a destination. And so it's unique to each individual. But yeah, this has been week 3, episode 3. Please join us next time as we continue to explore the depths of modern masculinity and evolving dynamics between men and women, of course. And don't forget to subscribe, leave us a comment, share this episode with others who might benefit from our conversation. And until next time, I want to say peace.
All right.